Hello, hello, and welcome to a new book review video. My name is Brandon Wheeler. I have a strong mouth because when I was in the army, I had like a heat stroke thing happen. Something happened. Can't talk right unless I bite down something. If I bite, so moving on. Uh, Something I always wanted to do was write books and everything, and I did it. I put out my first book earlier this year, Tale from Z-Tas. Oh, well, this is a series, Tale from Z-Tas. The first book's called Blowing Up Lilacs. News on the second book soon. But what does that have to do with this book review video? Well, you'll see. First, I want to introduce the book. It is called, I'm not going to use a picture because I have the actual book. Just Stab Me Now. Interesting title. What? No, it is by Jill Bearup. I don't know how you say it. It's either Bearup or Bearup, but Jill Bearup. But she is a YouTuber on YouTube. Seemingly does or has like combat experience on stage, like doing actor, fighting movements with swords and everything like that. Now, last year or 2 years ago, I discovered because when I discovered her channel through other things, I was doing research because I was thinking of medieval armor and everything like that, and stumbled on partly, while researching things online, I discovered her stuff of ranking armor videos and everything like that, of how this is not actually armor, that's ceremonial, and this is not armor at all, and this is so terrible, just stab me now. That's where the title of that comes from. And it kind of used, suggestions of that and everything because I was really thinking about her character in the book of like something specific armor wise that she has or doesn't have. And I was thinking, you know what, that would be, and I was just basically when I think of armor and everything for my characters in my books and everything, I was kind of thinking, okay, that makes sense. I was trying to think of like how to make it more accurate, more uh, just interesting and everything, and but also be sensible. The armor to actually, be armor and work, and not just look good. So, I recently saw like a video of hers came up about sword fighting and stuff again about an old movie that I'm very familiar with, Marcus Zorro, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember. Then she mentioned in the thing she has a book. And I was like, oh, okay. And since she has and since I kind of used a little bit her video stuff for inspiration of like determining armaments and stuff like that. I was like, what, be a payback and everything. So here it is. I ordered it back in March, late March, and now I just finished it over the course of a month. Of course, I'm reading Fellowship of the Ring too, but between reading both, I was like, okay, I'll just focus on reading this for a month. But what is Just Stab Me Now? Just Stab Me Now I won't give too much spoilers. It's a fantasy book, a fantasy romance book, kind of. You have a character named Rosamund Rosamund Hawkhurst. She's a widow with two kids, mid 30s. She's being sent to try to stop a war that's brewing between these two countries, and she's being sent with one escort over there. Now the trouble is the author wants to, put them together. Not the author Jill, but the author of the book. That's right. The author in the book, it's fancy because the author of the book can talk to the main character. It's like, hey, you're going to have your, your enemies to hot romance and everything like that. And she's like, shut up. I don't want to do anything with that. I'm trying to focus on stopping a war here, save my kids. And the author is so bent, like, but you got to do all these tropes and everything. So you got a fight between what the actual characters and all of them that they're trying to do want versus what the writer wants, and they're trying to compromise and all the what they're doing and stuff like that. So it's a very humorous type of book in how just kind of the situation is and everything like that. Although I notice certain characters maybe named after certain famous things, like possibly, I don't know, could be related, could not be. Certain things are different character names. They're like, I wonder if that's inspired by, but it would make sense for the actress, the writer in the book, Carolyn, to be kind of, pulling from that and everything. Like the Lady Rosamund's son is named Edmund, and her daughter named Charlotte. I'm thinking like Edmund, like from the Chronicles of Narnia, and Charlotte, like from Charlotte's Web, maybe. Though I don't recognize the name what Leo Collins would be from, or even Mabry or something. Now the two countries, one starts with an A and the other one starts with a B. I was thinking, is there a third country? Is it going to start with a C? But there's no third country ever named. I'm like, oh. Because then you have an A, B, and a C. It has that kind of feeling for it. I was like, oh, that could be kind of interesting. But there's, not just conflict between that. There's actual, conflict between what's going on with the characters' lives in the books and trying to do everything, and also the author's life and trying to, balance this out, trying to do things she wants to do at work, and her horrible work and everything that's going on with the technical support that she's doing. Like, she didn't even imagine Rosalind to be so old. She wanted, like, a 20-something girl to be doing stuff, to be much more romantic. And no, Leo is 30 years old, and Lady Rosamund's 36. Oh, Leo is the Bavarian guard that's being sent with her to the other country to try to, stop a war and everything that's brewing. Do they get together or not? So it's just, seemingly this is based off Miss Jill's series. She made a series of, like, this kind of scenario, like video type thing. I never seen that or even heard of that until I read the back of the book. I'm like, oh, that's what this is based off of? I didn't know that. But as far as the book and everything, very descriptive with a whole bunch of different words and different medieval type things and stuff. I'm thinking, I have no clue what any of this stuff is, but okay. uh, let's see. It's more romantic than anything. I will say it is more romantic and funny. Not really fightsy stuff. With all the talk about fightsy stuff, there wasn't really any fightsy stuff per se. It was, besides two events that more involved knives than it did involve swords. So I was kind of surprised about that. I was thinking, I want a little bit more. But the descriptions of, like, dress stuff and different works and things like that, I was like, okay, that I do enjoy, like, because I'm just thinking style-wise, how much flowery should things be versus overemphasizing everything. But again, styling and how everyone wants to do one thing versus another, that's okay. So I have to say this. There's the Lady Rosamund's, best friend, or not best friend, but a guy she knows named Robin. Of course, the author can talk to all the different characters and stuff. Well, she talks to Leo at times. She talks to Robin. For some reason, I picture Robin to be the way he's described, but for some reason, I picture him as, like, that guy from Robin Hood Men in Tights. This guy. I know he doesn't talk like this. He's very smooth and he's very, jovial and everything like that. That's who Robin is. But I picture him looking like this. I don't know why. It's just like, for some reason, that's the picture that comes into mind for him. It's like, I think it looks, for some reason, I just think he looks like this. I don't know what it is, but I think he looks like this from Robin Hood Men in Tights. I don't know if Robin is a reference to Robin Hood Men in Tights. It's not the name of the character. It's not Robin Hood, but for some reason, that's what I think Robin looks like. I don't know why. I do. Leo Collins, I think, kind of looks like Liam O'Brien, from Critical Role and everything. His face, to be fair, his face is very like a Charlton Heston face. It can fit in different time periods, different looks and everything like that. For some reason, his face and everything has that type of regal, aristocratic, and just soldierly look. It has a face that can go pretty much anywhere and everywhere. That's kind of how I envision Leo and how it looks and everything. I guess Lady Rosamund, I just kind of picture more, I guess it's kind of like Miss Jill in that role, but for the author, I don't know, I just imagine like you have like real live action is, I kind of imagine this like a series almost. Of course she has a series, but I mean in my own view, because I think of movie wise, imagine like the stuff that's happening in the book is real time, but then the stuff of the author is all animated, like cartoon, because how she like pops in sometimes trying to give thoughts into Rosamund, she's trying to shush her away and everything. Like it's just kind of funny to me. I just kind of picture that as all animated in some ways. It's just that's just how I do things. But overall, back to the book. This if you want something kind of funny, lighthearted, definitely, then this book's for you. It's funny and everything, not so much action packed. It's just Uh, has a lot of political intrigue. It does have a little bit of that. And you see kind of how decisions are made and everything like that, and how stuff gets away from the author, how the author's trying to really tie it in. And you also see like what's going on with the author's life and everything like that. But if there's a sequel specifically to this book, I hope it comes in the form of a third country that starts with the letter C. Because then you have an A, B, and a C. It'd be perfect. So that's just what I think. Oh yeah, I actually didn't notice. I kind of looked at the cover, but I actually really realized it after I got done reading it yesterday. I'm like, oh, okay. It has different stuff of like stop that Robin, everything else on it that different characters are saying different things. But I really enjoyed it, and I thank you, Miss Jill, Miss Bearup, for writing the book and for your partial inspiration of critiquing armor and everything for some things in my when I think of armor and stuff in my series. Specifically, it may not be noticeable in this, but there is one specific detail that, for me, is just a personal thing that is like, you know what, this, I can't spoil it, but it's just a specific detail that's just like, oh, yeah, that'd be a thing. But anyway. Alrighty. So if you haven't read this book, it is available on Amazon and a whole bunch of other places. I don't know where. I think you could find the link to it in her videos, which is what I did. So I hope you go enjoy her book and everything. Go check out her channel and everything. I'll link to it here at the end. And I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.